LeBron, he's a cool guy. He's a guy that actually, for me, when I was coming through college, when I first met him, he came to a couple of my games. He's just real down to earth, approachable. Gave me a lot of mental, nuggets that I could take with me as I started my own NBA career. Obviously, as a basketball player, the dude's amazing. So somebody that has a lot of pressure on him, and somehow seems to keep getting better.
There is no denying his greatness in terms of what he can do on the court. And sometimes even when you're playing against him, you're in awe because it's the way he can control the tempo of the game, the way he can dominate scoring, passing, just his overall just presence and his IQ, all that stuff. We all talk about it. And you have to appreciate your competition if you want to beat him, because there's got to be that, as coach would call it, the appropriate fear.
Absolutely.
But
who else you want to play with?
Shit. Man, there's some motherfuckers in today's game, but Steph Curry.
Yeah, that's the one.
Steph Curry's the one that I want to play with, for sure, in today's game.
And in terms of him picking out one player that he would want besides his son that he would want to play with, and my name comes up, it is definitely, it's surreal because I'll never be so far removed from the time I was in Detroit playing in the Sweet 16 game, and this dude was maybe in his 4th or 5th year in the league, and he's coming to my game, supporting and cheering and doing all that stuff, even at the place he was at in his career as, the future superstar and, like you said, Hall of Famer, potentially greatest of all time. The fact that we're 13 years removed and he's saying that is still crazy.
At the time, it's this great story about this college kid at this small school, Dell's son or whatever, and LeBron is at his game. Could you ever have imagined playing against Braun in the finals 5 straight times at that point?
Nobody will ever believe it. It's just because it's a great question. That's exactly, I wouldn't, after we lost in the Elite Eight to Kansas, even at that point, I still wasn't thinking about the league. The first question I got in the locker room after the game was hey, you declaring for the draft? I was like, what? What are you talking? We're in here crying, mad we lost, and it's the first time I really kind of contemplated that would be, that was the time. Obviously I knew that was the end goal, but it wasn't a means to an end type of situation. So to be in the tournament run, and I wish y'all could have been on our team bus, driving up to, or in Detroit, going back and forth from the game, and you hear these rumors hey, I think Bron's coming to the game. What? Yeah, they're playing Detroit later. He asked, somebody called the Davidson staff for some tickets for Braun to sit in our section. We're what? What are you talking about? This is right. It's probably his fourth year in the league, and so nobody believed he'd show up. And then we get to the forward field, and lo and behold, right when the tip off is coming, here comes Rich, Braun. I was trying to think who else was over there. He had 5 or 6 people, and he's there just being a fan and watching us play. So I don't know how people knew this. He gave me a jersey when I was in high school. When I was in college at Davidson, and I still have it on the wall at my parents' house back in Charlotte. I still have in my dad's house in North Carolina. I still have a Bron jersey on the wall in my bedroom. He signed the next year. He came to Charlotte, and I went to the game, and he signed a jersey, and it's the greatest shooter in North Carolina or something like that. And he signed it, and I kept it.
Wow.
And he wrote it to the king of basketball in North Carolina, and signed it and all that. So I'll never be too far removed from where I came from in terms of this journey. Gave me the shoes after the game and all that. So it's still wild just to think about the journey since then, because who would have ever thought that? The other quick part is okay, if you take a fantasy draft and you're building a team out, and you got what Bron can do and the way that I can shoot the ball, obviously there's a curiosity, what would that look like? But also there's a realism of that's why I said I'm good right now. It's just, you can never let your mind go from what is your situation, what is your moment, your time, and who I've been rocking with from day one. So that's my best answer at it, because it's fantasy, it's wild, but there's a respect and appreciation. There's a surrealness because of where I came from and how we first interacted back when I was in college. But if this was 2K, that'd be pretty lethal. To think, fast forward, 6 years later, we'd be playing against each other in the finals and all that. It's just a wild experience.
Curry drives again, left-handed, blocked by James, rejected out of bounds.
I'd say in terms of one guy being able to change the course of a game the way he can. He controls the pace. He does things that you kind of look like, how did he do that?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter sometimes how great a defense you play on him. And sheer strength and power to get to the basket. He's obviously developed that outside game that keeps you honest. You need all antennas up, all 5 guys every night. And if you don't bring it, he's liable to try to expose you. So in terms of that first championship run, matching up with him, and some of the stuff that he did on a nightly basis, it was spectacular. But at the end of the day, like, that gives you even more competitiveness and fire to try to figure out how to overcome it and still win. And it gives you a little bit more gratifying feeling when you do too. So
bad pass by Curry, stolen by James. Iguodala's back, and James throws it right down in his face.
How would you describe you and LeBron? Because it's evident when you're out there playing, there is a rivalry.
He's in the way of me getting another trophy, and I was in the way the last 3 years, and you battle it out. So beyond that, we're 2 totally different people, have a lot of different things going on. We're in different times in our careers and things like that. So I don't take it any further than that. Besides, the last 3 years, I've tried to win a championship, and he's been on the other side.
How do you sort of contextualize that year as part of your career?
It comes with a lot of emotions, right? You just explained it really well. The 73-9 chase, you're starting 24-0, coming off a championship, getting everybody's best shot and still winning. We're about to be 2-time defending champs back to back and the whole vibe. And know how it ended. What I say about that 3-1 situation is, I've never seen 2 guys play at that level
For 3 straight
games. It's the
games.
craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, Bron and Kyrie were just on. Like, we play well. They just play better. And it was hard to watch and be in that vibe where you couldn't do anything about it. And we still had an opportunity to win game 5 and 7 down the stretch. And then the Kevin Love possession, which is one of my, if there's one play, I know I should have done something different, it's that one. There's way more time on the clock than I thought. Me trying to answer Kyrie's 3 over me was kind of in my head, and you force up a shot and you kind of lose momentum, and they win on your home floor. But you can always tip your hat to somebody who just outplayed you, and that's what they did for 3 straight games.
Whether it be your first time with him at his Cleveland house or another time, the best time the 2 of you have ever had together?
It was probably that. We went bowling in his house, which was pretty cool. And he actually
You were a young guy then, right?
Solid. My rookie year in the league. And it was him and his 2 sons were around, and we were playing bowling. We were bowling, watching some basketball games at his house, and we played in Cleveland. But he's pretty solid bowler. I didn't have a chance. Yeah, I didn't have a chance that day. And then the next day they beat us in Cleveland, so I was 0 for 2 that week against LeBron.
This guy is from a different planet. He literally has an automatic sniper connected to his arm, and when he lets it go, not only himself, but everybody on the floor, in the stands, on TV, on their phones, whatever you're watching on, you think it's going in every time. And 9 times out of 10, sometimes 10 times out of 10, it does go in. So to be out there and watch that kid from Akron as well shoot the ball the way he shot it, it was unbelievable. It was pretty cool.